A Bahamian music legend has died. The Bahamas Electricity Corporation takes another step towards new management. And Bahar chief Sarkis Ismailian makes a $200 million offer in a bid to jumpstart the stalled resort. We've got all these stories and more. I'm your host, David Turnquest, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. Beloved Bahamian singer Franklin Ellis, better known as Count Bernardino, has passed away in hospital this week after a long battle with heart and thyroid illness. The Cacique Award winner, known for his famous song Calypso Bacchanal, died at Doctors Hospital shortly after midnight on Thursday, with his wife Juanita at his side. He was 91 and the father of 3 children, Joel, Mia, and Nita. Mr. Ellis had been bedridden and unable to walk for the last 18 months due to illness. The native of Norman's Castle, Abaco, honed his singing and guitar skills in Nassau, Jamaica, New York, and landed his big break shortly after relocating to New York in 1947. He returned to the Bahamas as a superstar in the mid-1950s, where he performed frequently at clubs and other well-known night spots, before eventually going on to tour internationally, promoting the Bahamas. Murder suspect Donna Vasili's hope for a pre-trial release is back again in the Court of Appeal for the 3rd time. Appellate judges will hear the Crown's challenge to Justice Stephen Isaacs' decision to grant her $200,000 bail. The Australian national has spent 4 months on remand at the Department of Correctional Services, facing a murder charge in connection with the fatal stabbing of her millionaire podiatrist husband, Philip Vasili, on March 24th. The 54-year-old widow was unsuccessful on 2 previous occasions in getting Senior Justice Stephen Isaacs to release her on a bond. Her latest application, heard on July 9th, saw her receive a $200,000 bond from Isaacs, who made his decision based on her apparent failing health. However, that bail decision was challenged by prosecutors, who pointed to a provision of the Bail Act that allows the Crown's notice of intent to appeal to serve as an automatic stay against a bail order. Next week, Vasili is expected to make her 3rd appearance before the appellate court concerning bail since the judge's initial refusal of her bond within days of her March 30 arraignment. The government has signed a transition services agreement with American company Power Secure for the management of the Bahamas Electricity Corporation, a move that is expected to drop the cost of electricity by some 25%. The agreement is valued at about $900,000, according to Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, who yesterday, along with several Power Secure officials, signed off on what the Minister of Works said was another important step towards reducing the cost of electricity and increasing the reliability of power in the Bahamas. Mr. Davis said he now expects that the cost of electricity for consumers will eventually drop from 40 cents per kilowatt hour to 30 cents per kilowatt hour. However, he said that it depends on the results of the due diligence investigations conducted by Power Secure officials. Nonetheless, he said Power Secure will now finalize its business plan over the next 60 days, providing specific recommendations on how it planned to manage the new company for the next 5 years. A management contract will be signed with Power Secure as soon as that business plan had been signed, accepted, and adopted by the Cabinet of the Bahamas. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works Philip Brave Davis this week tabled an independent technical report commissioned by his ministry into the government's Urban Renewal Small Home Repairs program. This comes months after the controversial leak of the Auditor General's report into the program. Mr. Davis told parliamentarians on Wednesday that the original audit was conducted by accountants and that its findings should be tested by experts in the field of construction. He declared the repairs project a resounding success after the independent review concluded the initiative's first phase had received value for money and directly contradicted several findings in the Auditor General's report. However, Auditor General Terence Bastian has said that his department stands by its audit of the program, adding that the technical report did not change the audit's recommendations concerning the project, and that he did not want to get into a back and forth over the disputed findings. Mr. Bastian's audit, which concluded that value for money could not be determined, covers the period of July 1, 2012 to September 30, 2014, and surveyed a sample of 75 homes. The ministry's report concluded that the project was a work in progress, and approximately 90% of the initial scope of repair works had been completed, adding that Phase 1 of the project operated above average given the intended purpose and its initial program methodology. It explained that the program would improve tremendously if recommendations outlined in its report were implemented, such as the strict enforcement of proper construction supervision during repair works. The report was conducted by technical firms Island Dimensions and Development Company Limited and J.D. Chisholm and Associates. It had a sample size of 80 homes, or 25% of the 312 homes repaired during the project's initial phase. Back before a Delaware court this week, Bahama attorneys have revealed that CEO Sarkis Ismailian is willing to commit $200 million in a bid to break the deadlock over the stalled resort. The resort has been negotiating with its major lender, China Export-Import Bank, and its general contractor, China Construction America. However, no deal has been struck yet. During the bankruptcy court hearing this week in Delaware, lawyers for Bahama did not provide any details of the terms necessary for Mr. Ismailian's commitment for the $200 million. Bahama has not ruled out appealing Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder's decision to reject its application for approval of its U.S. Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings in the Bahamas. Roy Sweeting, an attorney who represented the resort, said the resort would wait the judge's decision before they could make a move on whether to possibly appeal. Mr. Ismailian has blamed China Construction America for the delays that forced the resort to miss several opening dates. However, CCA has said that his development team mismanaged the project, a project in which Mr. Ismailian has invested some $900 million. Bahama, when finished, will feature a Las Vegas-style casino and more than 2,000 rooms in 4 hotels. The resort is nearly complete, however, construction stopped months ago because of a dispute between the developer and CCA. Bahama, the government, CCA, and China Export-Import Bank will be back in the Supreme Court on July 31st at a hearing on the government's petition to wind up the company. All sides have publicly expressed the desire to settle the matter out of court before then, even as the developer and its Chinese partners continue to make accusations during their legal proceedings in the bankruptcy court. With the next payday for Bahama employees next week, officials hope an agreement can be struck among the parties so that more than 2,500 workers could be paid by the resort's developer. Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Like us on Facebook, Tribune News Network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune242. Send us a tweet at Tribune242 or log on to our website at Tribune242. And congratulations also goes out to Bahamian 400 meters hurdler Jeffrey Gibson for winning the gold at the Pan Am Games.